Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're going to give everyone a couple minutes to join and get started at 2 after the hour. All right, so we're going to get started here. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today as we talk about actionable analytics that can empower your customer service teams. We at Fivetran are joined by our friends at Looker and are really excited to dig into how your actual analytics can lead to customer success. We've got two great presenters for you today. On the Fivetran side, we have John Means, who's a technical success manager. And on the Looker side, we have Bruce Handel, who is a senior sales engineer specifically for alliances. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to John to get us started.
Thank you, Lauren. Hey everyone, my name's John. I'm on the technical success team at Fivetran, and I've basically spent the past 6 years working in the customer service space at a couple different SaaS companies, leveraging tools like Zendesk and also figuring out cool ways to use the data that tools like Zendesk produces to drive business decisions for our customer success organizations. So excited to talk through some of that with you all today. We'll start by kind of just talking about customer service analytics at a high level, like what it is. So kind of formal definition here is collecting and analyzing customer feedback to discover valuable insights so CS teams can deliver fast, efficient, and personalized experiences that customers now expect. But let's put that in a couple more tangible terms that might resonate with you all a little bit more. So one really important part of customer service analytics are customer service performance metrics. So these are the key performance indicators of how your customer service team is doing. So these are a couple examples of what that might look like, especially for tools like Zendesk or something that's tracking ticketing, where customers are submitting tickets to your customer service team. So you might be interested in tracking the total number of tickets solved within a month or certain day. What is the average response time for someone on your customer service team to respond to your customers? What are the average times to resolution? How long are your customers waiting for a question to be answered or a problem to be fixed? These might even tie into some of the service level agreements that companies have, that when customers sign a contract with you, that we say that we will respond within an hour, respond within 2 hours, or the resolution time should be within a day. So these are really important to track. Another flavor of customer service analytics is measuring the customer experience. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. How is their experience with your organization? So there are a couple different metrics here that you should be tracking, or at least thinking about tracking, such as Net Promoter Score, known as NPS, customer satisfaction percentage or the customer effort score. Put yourself in the shoes of the customer and really understand based on kind of survey responses, or allow them to grade you. And you want to be able to track and measure that and hopefully use that as a internal metric that you're seeing how are you doing from your customer standpoint. And last but not least, at a little bit higher level is kind of qualitative customer support data. Know how your customer support teams are working well with customers and where are there areas for improvement. And ultimately, really what you're going to be able to understand here is how that drives customer behavior, especially when we think about churn or retention or expansion of customers. It's important to look at all the different touch points that they had with your teams and how did those touch points go? Were they good? Were they positive? Or were they poor? And they need to be improved upon before you can look to expanding a certain account. So with that, there's a couple challenges, and some of these I'm sure will resonate with you. One is just that customers really expect more of a personalized experience from your company's ever-growing expectation from customers that they have a personalized experience whenever they talk to someone from your customer service team or a sales rep, whoever it may be. And so there's this stat here that roughly 71% of customers will express frustration with your business when they don't get that. So they will let you know. And you might have seen that in a couple different ways if you're hands-on with customers. Another one's unreliable and inconsistent data. Really, you should be making data-driven business decisions, and you rely on that data to come through every day, every hour. And when you don't have that, your reports are out of date. Or you might be looking at something where your executive team is like, what? Our customer satisfaction score dropped to 4% because of some weird data inconsistency. Those are the types of things we want to avoid. The third bullet here is really just continue growth of applications, which is great. You know, there's a bunch of different amazing tools and software that allow you to work with these customers, but each of those new tools kind of creates a separate and new data silo. And that makes it really hard to centralize all of that data to understand a really holistic view of all the different touch points that you have with your customers. And then furthermore, even within those applications, let's talk about Zendesk for an example. There are multiple channels for those touch points within those, whether it's a customer coming to you through your website, coming to you through mobile, through a chat or a call in store. So there's just more and more data points that are continuing to grow, and there's a need to get all of those out of those different silos and centralize them. And so with that, we'll kind of talk through some of the traditional approaches that people use to centralize this data. One is manual data wrangling. I'm hoping less and less people will find themselves doing this, but it still definitely happens where you just have to go and download a CSV, download an Excel file, transform it, merge it, upload another one, and you're doing this in Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets. It's super manually intensive, error prone, and just not a great option in that sense. Federated queries are another way that's kind of a step in the right direction, where you can run queries against multiple different databases to kind of pull a result set that combines data out of those different silos. But again, there's kind of performance issues there, and it's really hard to actually write those queries in a way that gets you the data results in the format that you need. And last but not least is custom ETL. So really developing custom code and scripts, or using a workflow tool to extract, transform, and load data. But again, this requires a high level of data engineering expertise and a high level of data engineering resources to build and maintain these pipelines. So I'll introduce Fivetran here. This is kind of where we sit in the data space and what our tool is really designed to do. So Fivetran builds automated data pipelines. We help customers get data out of all of these silos and into a single centralized place to do all of your analytics. And these are just a couple of the kind of like core features that we really love about our product. One is that it's automated. We're really designed for quick and easy use. We want to make it super easy for anyone, whether they're a data analyst with no coding experience or a data engineer that wants to have accurate data, to be able to create a pipeline and trust and maintain that replica of your data. And we have an ever-growing list of sources here. Right now, I think we have at least 170 different sources that we support pipelines for. And something else here, a quick anecdote, is like with that, we kind of have this set and forget it mindset. Set up your pipeline, make sure the data is coming over, and then you're just going to let it run. You don't need to worry about it. It's all automated in terms of that data getting over here. Some of our favorite stories are our customers reaching out to us saying, hey, I forgot my password because I haven't logged in like a year because I haven't needed to. I just get my data. The second one here, resilient. When I talk about reliable data, this is kind of the really speaks to that. Our infrastructure ensures that data integrity is maintained no matter what. If there are some really technical folks in the room, we talk about idempotence a lot, which means you can run the same pipeline over and over again and your results won't change in your data warehouse. Our focus is really on accurate data, and you can always trust the data that Fivetran syncs. Last but not least, cloud native. Really, we're built in the cloud. We're designed to grow and scale in the cloud. So all of these different sources, whether they're source APIs, we have an entire data engineering teams that are monitoring and updating our code as those source APIs change and have new features. And so here's a quick look at kind of like the end-to-end data flow, where you have data in those silos or in those application sources like a Zendesk, Salesforce, Service Cloud, Intercom, or Customer, maybe in different databases. And Fivetran kind of sits in the middle here. We're going to go ahead and pull all that data and replicate that data from those sources into a data warehouse or data lake that's optimized for doing all of your analytics. And we're going to be able to get that data fast and reliable out of those sources into the place where you're going to be building all of that reporting, or your data science team or data analytics team is going to be doing interesting data analytics. And I think a little bit more of like how Fivetran actually helps. I kind of talked about those challenges and I explained what Fivetran does, but here's a little bit more of a tangible way is we're eliminating all of the manual data prep. It's very easily to centralize all of that data. Like I said, a couple clicks to set up a new connector to get that data flowing. No manual data prep. You have the data available in your destination. And really just being able to connect more data with that ease, you can allocate more of those resources and spend, instead of taking a month to build your own custom pipeline, you could spend that time connecting 5 different data sources and getting all that data over. Fast and reliable data, that's our kind of what we're really focused on, is always improving the speed and reliability of that data. We understand protecting sensitive data is really important, especially when it comes to PII. So you can do things like hash data, certain columns that you might not want to be in plain text. So things like that we're very good at as well. And auditing and reconciling, we sync a lot of metadata about when a record was synced or when a record was updated. So you can go back and see, oh, this was updated on February 2nd, or this record actually hasn't been updated since maybe December. And so we're really focused on giving you all of the metadata and tools so that you can do any of the auditing that you need to do, so that you can really ensure trust in the data and decisions that you're making with that data. And so I've talked a lot about Zendesk today. It's what Bruce is going to be demoing a little bit from the Looker side. And so Zendesk is one of our application connectors. And so what I have up on the screen here is what is known as an entity relationship diagram, or an ERD. And this is what Fivetran builds whenever we create a data connector from a source like Zendesk. And this is kind of highlighting, I know it's probably hard to see, so I'll get to a quicker look in a second, but I just want to highlight here that we're defining all of the tables and the columns in those tables that you're going to get once you set up a Fivetran connector. And this is kind of really important because this can be really hard for you to do. If any of you have built your own custom pipelines or you've done data exports and you know things change, you know, oh, there's this new table or new column, what is this? How does this relate from one table to another? How do I join these? What's the connection? This is kind of the core piece here that allows your team to do a lot of things and what allows Bruce and the Looker team to build really cool reports on top of this. And so let's zoom in on a couple. I just pulled out a couple key tables here for Zendesk in this case. So something like the ticket table. This is the table that houses all of the information about each ticket. And so you can see here, there's a ticket ID. You can join what's the organization. You join the organization table to know what customers that coming from. Are there any notes or other shared tickets or comments? The satisfaction ranking rating table. We talked about that earlier, understanding how your customers are rating you. So what was their score? Did they leave a comment? Being able to get all that data. And another one here that calling out is like call metric data. We talked about multi-channel, people coming in through chat, you know, web, mobile, calls. So there's really awesome granularity here, which is our goal. And so I think with that, I'll hand it over to Bruce because he's going to highlight how Looker leverages these ERDs to take this granular data and give you something out of the box that gives you insights really quickly inside of Looker with Zendesk.
Thank you,
Awesome.
John. Oh, Lauren, we have a poll first, right?
We do. We have a poll coming up. Sorry, Bruce. So before we pass over to Bruce, we'd love to hear a little bit more about what your pain points are and what you struggle with when it comes to customer success. So you should see a poll launching on your screen shortly, and just feel free to check all of those that may apply. And we're going to give you about 30 seconds to engage with the poll. All right, close the poll now. And it looks like, yeah, pretty consistent across unreliable and inconsistent data, too many applications, and multi-channel touch points. So really great to know as we move forward with the presentation. And with that, Bruce, I will pass it over to you.
Lauren, I haven't seen the screen to share. Oh, there we go. All right, thanks for joining, everybody. My name is Bruce Sandell. I'm a senior sales engineer on the alliances team at Looker, specifically supporting our technology partnerships. I've been here about 4 years, and I have been working with the Fivetran team that whole time. We were both a lot smaller back then, so it's been great to kind of grow up together, and we've had a really tight partnership all of that time. So let me just tell you a little bit about Looker, first of all. We describe Looker as Google Cloud's cloud-native BI platform that delivers actionable business insights to employees at the point of decision. And hopefully, as we go through some of these slides in the demo, that will make a little bit more sense to you. So organizations that work with Looker find 3 primary benefits. The first is that it makes your data teams more agile. You have a single simplified system that results in faster response to change, And data teams can create automated, repeatable processes that allow them to focus on new initiatives faster. Second, data teams are more efficient. Analysts save time by providing self-service experiences for users, and they're able to collaborate easily with other analysts. Their focus can change from maintenance to improving business outcomes, and they shift from managing infrastructure to delivering insights. And finally, governance and control of data, which is simplified when the systems are centralized. You have a single source of truth for metrics, data remains in a single repository, and rapid access to data and agility aren't sacrificed with this improved governance. At its core, Looker is a fundamentally different modern way to do analytics, and that's based on a few key areas where Looker has focused our technology. First, Looker has an in-database architecture. This means that no data needs to be extracted or moved from your database or warehouse before analysis. Looker supports more than 50 unique database dialects, so whichever database you use, Looker can leverage it. And Looker can take advantage of native database functionality, such as machine learning tools, data permissions, and any other advanced functionality that your database provides. Second, Looker's powerful semantic modeling layer, known as LookML, saves analysts time. Analysts model their data and define metrics in a single unified way to keep the whole organization in sync. And developing models, metrics, and new ways to use data is highly collaborative, reduces unnecessary repetition of work, and is Git integrated. So model changes can be controlled, audited, and distributed among departments and analysts. And third, Looker is cloud native and extendable. It's fully web-based. With Looker, you get full API support so you can connect to third-party systems and even other analytics tools if necessary. And Looker can be deployed on the cloud infrastructure of your choice. Looker is open and interoperable, and those are core architectural tenets of Looker. To build on the diagram that John showed earlier, once Fivetran has helped you centralize your data, you'll use Looker to connect to that centralized source of data and then define all of your business metrics. Then you can use Looker to accomplish all of your data-related tasks, which we've bucketed into 4 main categories. We've got modern BI, which is creating dashboards, reporting, and ad hoc self-service data exploration for all of your internal analytics needs. Integrated insights, which is bringing data from Looker into the tools that people are already using, like your CRM, customer support systems, or chat applications. Data-driven workflows, which is sending data from Looker to third-party tools to automate workflows. For example, sending an audience from Looker to a marketing automation tool or a curated set of data to a machine learning tool for predictive analytics. And finally, custom applications. Using the data from Looker to power your own analytics experiences, either through embedding Looker visualizations directly or leveraging our API to power your own completely custom data applications. When you're ready to start working with a new source of data in Looker, there's a good chance that you'll be able to take advantage of Looker blocks. A Looker block is a pre-built LookML model along with pre-built dashboards, all built by subject matter experts. There's a Looker block for many common data sources, including many of your favorite SaaS applications. Looker has over 100 different blocks available, enabling you to greatly reduce your time to value with new data sets and allowing you to start gaining insights from the data in minutes rather than days or weeks. Besides blocks for common data sources, you'll also find blocks for common analytics patterns like cohort analysis, affinity analysis, and funnel analysis. We have a lot of blocks for Fivetran connectors. Here's a few examples of blocks that we've partnered on that are helpful with customer service analytics. Centralizing the data from these disparate systems opens up all kinds of opportunities for analytics that would be much more challenging with the data siloed in their source systems. As an example, at Looker, we use the Fivetran blocks for Zendesk and Salesforce, along with our own Looker usage statistics to provide a comprehensive view into our customers' Looker experience. Today, we'll be focusing on our Zendesk block. You'll use Fivetran to sync your Zendesk data to your data warehouse in just a few clicks. And in the demo, we'll see just how easy it is to get running with pre-built Looker models and dashboards so that you can start deriving value from that Zendesk data right away. So let's take a look at how you would get one of these Looker blocks up and running. So we're going to go to Looker, and the first thing that we need to do is set up a connection to our data source. So in this case, we are going to create a connection to a Google BigQuery database, which is where we've synced this Zendesk data from Fivetran. You can see here, these are all of the different databases and data warehouses that Looker supports. So since this is BigQuery, we need to provide a project name, a data set name, a service account email, and then our JSON credentials file. And once we have all that, we're ready to start working with the data. So we're going to go to the Looker Marketplace, which is this icon here at the top. And the Looker Marketplace has lots of things that you can install into your Looker instance to save you time. The first are our pre-built applications, so a number of useful tools that you can install to help you get more use out of your Looker instance. Models, which are what we're going to be taking a look at today, which are pre-built Looker models along with pre-built dashboards for a lot of your favorite SaaS applications. And finally, plugins, which are additional visualization components that you can add into your Looker instance as well. So we'll go to the model section and we'll search for Zendesk. And here we see Zendesk by Fivetran. And this is going to tell us, a little bit about what the block does for us, some sample screenshots of the dashboards. And if we want to add this to our Looker instance, all we have to do is click the install button. And it's just going to take us about a minute to get this installed into our Looker instance. So we'll accept the license agreement. It tells us a little bit about the Looker permissions that we're going to need for this. Hit accept, and now we're going to tell it the name of the connection that is pointing to our Zendesk data. So that's the application demo that we just created. The name of the schema where the Zendesk data is. And then we're going to put in our Zendesk instance name here because there's going to be some places in these dashboards where we can actually click on ticket IDs and get directly into Zendesk to look at those tickets. So we'll go ahead and hit install, and it takes just a second for that to install. And then what we'll see in our instance now is in the applications and tools section, all of the marketplace components that we've installed. So we'll click on our new Zendesk component here, and we'll see all of the things that were installed. So we have 3 new dashboards for agent-specific data, overview, and ticket-specific data, and then 3 explorers. And explorers are just subject areas where users can go and do their own self-service data exploration. And we'll take a look at all of these. So the first thing that we're going to look at is the support overview dashboard. And this covers a lot of the performance metrics that John had mentioned. So you can see the number of tickets solved, the number of open tickets, our median response time, median time to resolution, tickets by channel. John had mentioned that there's multi-channel touch points, so we can see how all of them are, how they're performing, how our different groups are performing, year-over-year ticket counts, so we can see last year's tickets versus this year's, and then some daily activity reports by tickets and by rep. Looker dashboards are really meant to be sort of a launching point for your exploration. So just about anything that you see in a Looker dashboard, you can click on to get more information. So if we wanted to get more detail on these 98 open tickets, all we have to do is just click on the 98. and drill into it. And this is going to show us information on all of those 98 open tickets. So what the ticket ID is, who the customer was, the date it was created, status, how long it's been since it's updated, and other information that might be useful. As someone that's monitoring this, I might be concerned about this 98 open tickets. That's more than I'd really rather have. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create an alert so that anytime the number of open tickets gets to be more than 100, I'm going to get an email sent so that I can take action on this right away. And I can create an alert that's visible just to me, or one that anybody else in our organization can subscribe to that it's interested. Next, let's take a look at the agent dashboard. So the agent dashboard is going to give us some details on how an individual's rep is performing and how they're performing against their team. So in this case, we're looking at an agent named Pete Pierce. We can see the number of tickets that he solved versus how many his team has. Average first response time, days to solve, all look really solid compared to the general team performance. And then we can just see overall how he ranks against his teammates here: days to resolution, time to first response. And then our open ticket timeline, we can see for each of these customers how long their tickets have been open. Weekly ticket burn down to see how many tickets get solved versus how many open tickets we have. And then just a list of our open tickets based on their priority. You can see here anywhere that you see a ticket number with the globe, we actually have the option to link out to Zendesk and open this ticket in Zendesk. And then if we go to the ticket lookup, this is where you can find information on individual tickets. So not only can you see information about the specific ticket, 2613, we can see who the customer is, some details about who requested it, which of our reps is handling it, what the status is, how long it's been since it was last updated, the history of all the comments that were made on this ticket. And then we can see some previous tickets with this account. So if we wanted to go explore some of these other tickets, see if they've had problems with the same area, see if we've handled their tickets well in the past, what their expectations might be from us. So these are all of the pre-built dashboards that Looker supplies for you. But one of the things that makes Looker dashboards so powerful is the ability for users to go in and do their own self-service exploration. And you can use any of these dashboard tiles as a starting point for that. So if I were a supervisor that was monitoring these different support groups, I may be interested in getting some more information on this tickets by group. So I'm going to click on the title, and this is going to take us into Looker's Explore interface. And this is where users come to do all of their own self-service data exploration. It's also where you can see all of the work that your data analyst has done in your LookML model. So the LookML model is where they're defining all of the metrics that run your business, and then they make it available here in the Explore section. So over here on the left, we have what's called Looker's Field Picker, and this is where users can come in and access all of the different fields that have been made available to them, so that you know exactly what fields users are selecting from. You know that they're using the same common definitions for all of the business metrics that they're using. So let's go ahead and modify this, and instead of taking a summarized view of the number of tickets by team, what I want to do is see this by month. So I'm going to change this chart a little bit, and I'm going to add the ticket created month in there. And I'm going to pivot this by the support team. And I'm going to change this to be a column chart. So let me go ahead and rerun this. All right, so now I can get a better view of what's going on with my teams over time. And I'm going to go ahead and customize this chart a little bit to make it a little bit easier to work with. So I'm going to make it a stack chart. And I'm going to change the color scheme to one that I like a little bit better. So I'm going to change that to the Google color scheme. You can create your own custom color schemes. And let's see. All right, so I like this visualization. So now that I've created this, there's a lot of different things that I can do with it. I can choose to save this as a look, which is Looker terminology for a standalone report. I could save this to a new or existing dashboard, download the data, or I can save and schedule this so that I can look at it on a recurring basis, which is what I'd like to do. So I'm going to go ahead and save and schedule this, and I'm going to call it team activity by month. And when you're saving your content, you have a choice of saving it to a shared area where other users can access it. Or if it's something that you've just created for yourself, or it's a work in process, you can save it to your own personal area. So I'm going to go ahead and save this to my own personal area. And then this is going to bring us to Looker scheduling interface. And here I can select where I want this data to go. So as I mentioned, one of the options that you have in Looker is integration with lots of different third-party systems. So I could choose to email this data to myself, or depending on what kind of data it was, I might want to send it to Amazon SageMaker to do some predictive analytics. I might want to send it in a text message via Twilio. If I had found an issue, I might want to post this directly to Jira. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and email this to myself. I'm going to have it sent as a visualization, and I'm going to have it sent to me every day at 6 o'clock. So that's just an example of how a user can do their own self-service visualizations. And as I mentioned earlier, we have taken several of these blocks within Looker. So here's an example of some high-level Looker metrics combined with some data from Salesforce, as well as customer success metrics, to kind of give us an overall high-level view of how the company is performing. So that's it for the demo. And let me head back over to slides here. And finally, you can help your customer service teams get the most out of their data in 3 steps. First of all is to automate. Automate the movement of your customer success data and any other critical business data into your data warehouse using Fivetran. Next, provide your end users with the most up-to-date data with pre-built dashboards and the ability to do their own self-service analytics. And finally, don't shy away from adding more data. The more data that your customers have or that your users have available, the more insights to help them drive their business they'll be able to gain. And using the combination of Fivetran and Looker blocks makes adding more data quick and painless. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Lauren for Q&A.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Bruce and John. Really appreciate both of your insights. We are running a little bit short on time, so I think we only have time for one question for both of you. First question here is for John. And this person would like to know, how can we best get our customers to use our product more?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think the first step in doing that is really understanding how they're using your product today and how they're working with you today. When you go into those conversations around having those conversations with them, you want to be equipped with all of the data points that you can have, so that those customers really feel and know that you're speaking directly to them and helping them understand the importance of their use of your product. So I think, and that all starts with having the data available. So looking at, hey, I know you've, like, for example, you might say, hey, like, I know you've experienced some issues with this part of our product, because you have the customer support ticket data available and you looked through that, and you just want to say, I just want to make sure that's working for you today. Customers aren't going to grow and expand if they have pending issues or had a bad experience. So you want to be able to get ahead of all of that. You can do some really cool stuff with all of this data, building customer health scores to help you target which customers are in a good place for expansion, which ones need a little bit of TLC before they can expand. So first step is really knowing how their experience has been with you so far.
Awesome, thank you so much. And then we have a question for Bruce here. This one is about Looker's modeling language. So is Looker's modeling language, Looker ML, easy to pick up? And what are some advantages of using it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So yes, LookML is very easy to pick up. It's very SQL-like language. It's actually an abstraction of SQL. Usually people that are familiar with SQL are able to pick it up in just a couple of days. And there's some great advantages to using it. It solves some of the inherent problems that you find in SQL. One is the ability to share code. So one of the features of LookML that people like the most is it's sort of write once, use many. So you can create different business metrics and then use those same metrics over and over without having to rewrite the same SQL, for every report. Also, it's Git controlled, the version controlled. So when you're making changes, you check those changes into Git. So you have the same kind of oversight as a typical engineering development process. So, it makes it really easy to see who's done what, revert changes if needed. So yeah, it's pretty easy to pick up, and generally once people start using it, they love it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bruce and John. If anyone else has any additional questions, please feel free to submit them through the chat section, and we'll be sure to answer them in our follow-up email. Also, as a reminder, everyone will get a recording of this webinar sent directly to their email. I'm going to leave it open for a few more minutes just to make sure we can get all your questions in. But thank you so much, Bruce and John. Really appreciate you presenting today.
Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for joining, everyone.